You're listening to PetLifeRadio.com.
Hello and welcome to Six Figure Dog Business on PetLifeRadio.com. I am your host, Ty Brown of TyTheDogGuy.com, and this is the show where we help you start or grow your existing pet-related business to a healthy six-figure per year or more income. Now, I'm excited because today is actually a request from somebody. I'm going to do a show today on landing pages. Now, landing pages are a big part of how I earn my income and how a lot of folks earn their income online. And I want to share with you today exactly how you can earn more income using landing pages. So stay right with us. We'll be right back.
Sit. Stay. We'll be right back after a short pause.
It's DesignerPetSweaters.com. Hand-knitted designer sweaters for your precious pup or cool cat. Beautiful couture patterns for your pets, including custom-knitted formal wear, casual wear, yachting, and even sports-themed. Many designer pet sweaters include feathered tammy hats, top hats, and a lot of sparkle. Each sweater includes leg loops, front paw sleeves, and leash opening. Visit DesignerPetSweaters.com to order your four-legged fashions today. Your pets will stay warm for the winter and be runway ready. Large or small, we fit them all. DesignerPetSweaters.com.
Let's talk pets on PetLifeRadio.com.
Okay, we're back. And so, like I say, what I want to talk today about is landing pages. So, some folks, as I say landing page, knows what that means, and other folks doesn't really know what that means, and that's fine. So let me start out by defining what a landing page is. Now, I guess technically any page that you land on is a landing page because that's where you landed. So, but generally in internet marketing, when we're talking about a landing page, we're talking about a page that somebody comes to that has information on it with a call to action and only really one option. Click here to do this. Call this number now. And so essentially a page that we send people to in order to create a lead. And that's really what I want to talk about today is how we can use landing pages to create more leads and or more, and of course, more sales. Most of what I'm going to be talking about is going to be related to leads. But anyways, so a landing page is a place to send people that ideally collects their information or gets them to become a lead by doing something, calling you, clicking a button, texting you, whatever, filling out a form, whatever it is, turning into a lead. It typically, like I say, has a single, maybe a double action. Like it could be click here to get started or call this number. So it might have two calls to action, but generally it's going to be single or double call to action. And generally they're much more effective at creating leads because the single option allows people to either opt in or click off. So the question comes in, why would you want to use something like this? Because there are tons of dog-related businesses, dog walkers and pet sitters and dog trainers and groomers and all sorts of things like that, that don't use landing pages the way that I'm going to talk about and still do well. Well, what I'm going to talk about is going to be about taking things to the next level with you. And so a landing page, let me give you a few reasons why you might want to use them. So if you're running an ad campaign, let's say Facebook, Google, whatever, let's say you're running traffic or even like a flyer or a business card or something like that, most people are sending that traffic to their home page. Now, this can be okay if a homepage converts pretty well. And when I say converts, I'm generally, again, talking about lead conversion. And so let's say a homepage, people that hit that homepage, 10% of them will turn into leads. For a regular website, that's actually pretty good. Depending on the niche and depending on a variety of things, that can actually be very, very good. But let's say that, 100 people go to that page and 10 of them turn into leads. That's, like I said, that's pretty high. When it comes to landing pages, though, it's not uncommon to get 15, 20, 25, 30, 35% opt-in rates. Because again, all we're doing is providing one option, either become a lead or don't. And ideally, the person has been sent to that page because they have some sort of interest. They saw an ad or, we're going to talk here in a second about something else, but, they were sent to that page and they have some interest. So here they are with a little bit of interest. There's only one thing to do. And so they do it or don't. And like I say, that almost always leads to, if it's done right, almost always leads to a higher conversion rate of traffic turning into leads. I'm guessing, and I have no data on this, but just from people that I've spoken with and people, dog trainers that I know, I'm guessing the average website converts at about 5 to 10% into leads. Whereas, like I say, the average landing page, my landing pages are generally, and mine aren't like crazy amazing. I know people that do better than me in other industries, but my landing pages are generally about 33 to 45% conversion. And so the conversion rates are way bigger when you use a landing page, almost always if you're doing things right. And so if you're doing paid traffic, you have to make sure every dollar is going towards something valuable, that you're not losing money. And so if you're spending money sending traffic and you've got a 10% conversion rate, or you're spending money sending traffic and you've got a 30% conversion rate, obviously that's way better. It allows you to spend more to get a client. It allows you to beat out your competition because they're, if they're at 10% and you're at 10%, but now you have a landing page that is 30%, you can suddenly spend more because you're so much more efficient at turning that traffic into a client. So like I say, that's one reason why you should, maybe want to use that. Another reason, would be within a website. So let's say you're not even running paid traffic, but you're just running regular traffic. And this is how I get all my leads. People come to my website, they look around. Ideally, they're watching videos, they're seeing testimonials, they're reading my sales copy. And it's like, they get to the point where like, okay, I think we might be interested in this guy and his company. And so they click on something and boom, there's a landing page. And so that's where, 33 to 50 or 40, 45% typically of those people are going to turn into a lead. Whereas, again, people coming to your pages or anyone's pages are going to convert it much less. So with paid traffic, you're going to get more out of it. And then with organic traffic that just comes to your site, you're going to be much more efficient at capturing leads, really all around. Like I say, paid or organic, you want to take advantage as best you can. And so like I say, you can use them either way, whether you're just sending people straight to that page from a paid ad, or you can send them internally from your pages to a landing page. Those are reasons you'd want to do it in order to capture more leads, make more money. Your conversions done right will increase and you will make more money. So that's a pretty good reason, right? Can't argue with making more money. So I want to spend the bulk of the time here talking about what they should be. What a landing page should look like, how it should be, things like that. So let me start at the very top. At the top, we should have a headline. And so your headline, believe it or not, a lot of people, you might kind of overlook this and not recognize it for what it is, but your headline is so important because as with anything online or anything, any printed word, the whole point of every sentence is to get you to the next sentence, right? And so that's in newspapers. The headline is to get you to read the article. The article is to get you to read more. Get you to read more so that you see the advertisement and maybe act on it so that they can keep their newspaper going. Online, the headline of this article is to get you to click on it. Now, I'm not talking about clickbait. Don't get me wrong here. But, let's talking about people that are doing ethical things online. They create an article and they give it a title such that people want to click on it and go to it. When you go to McDonald's, they create names of things to get you to go to the next piece to see, all right, how can I get that? How can I get that double quarter pounder with cheese, that type of thing. And so that naming something is incredibly important. Now here, the headline is it needs to speak to a problem and a solution. One of the biggest mistakes I'll see when people make a headline for something like this is dog training, or dog grooming, or, something like really tame. Does your dog want to walk? For maybe a dog walker or something like that. It doesn't really speak to a problem. Whereas, something like, I'm just throwing out, I wrote down a few notes, things like stop your dog's aggression by tomorrow with this method. That's a promise, right? And it speaks to a problem. Somebody with aggression that has been dealing with aggression for a while is going to be like, yeah, I'd like to stop my dog's aggression by tomorrow with this method. I'm going to go on to the next thing, and I'm at least going to read like 2 sentences in to see if there's something valuable here. Or maybe you're a dog walker, and you could say, overcome boredom chewing immediately. You're speaking to a problem. You're not saying, hey, I walk dogs, opt in to see what I've got to tell you about. But when you're speaking to a problem, and like I say, overcome dog boredom chewing immediately, something like that speaks to a problem. Or get a groom on your dog that you love or your money back, or something like that speaks to a problem. Because so many people, you groomers know this, hopefully you do. So many people go to the groomers and leave upset because they didn't get the groom that they wanted. So that's the problem that they're already having, and the headline speaks to that. Like, hey, get the groom you want or your money back. And so like I say, something that offers a big promise that you can deliver on. Now, here's the thing. If you're struggling there, if you don't know what that is, if you're like, I'm not sure what to write for my headline, don't move on. Do not move on until you can provide a big promise. Now, if you can't promise anything big, my question to you is, why are you in business? And I don't mean that to sound like a jerk or to come off rude or anything, but if you don't have a big promise, if you don't solve something big that you can kind of encapsulate in a sentence or two, why are you in business? What are you doing for folks if you're not solving a big problem? Again, I'm putting it like this to help you see things in a certain way, because oftentimes when I'm talking with my clients about this, we talk about USP, and I want to talk about USP in a second, but we're talking about what's unique about them. They're like, I don't know. Okay, if you don't know, why would your customer know what's unique about you? Why would anyone care enough to give you money if you don't know what that is? If you don't know, your customers definitely aren't going to know. And so in any case, you've got to define what it is about you that you can do. That's a big promise. Now, again, going back to dog trainers as an example, it's not like, your big promise is we train dogs really well. That's not a big promise. Any dog trainer can say we train dogs really well. So like I say, that goes back to what I was just referring to a second ago, which is what's called USP. USP is your unique selling proposition. And so USP, and I believe I have at least one or two podcasts, if you go back and check, make sure you listen to all the podcasts, of course. But, the USP is something that's unique about you that really only you can say in your way, right? And so what is unique enough about you that makes somebody want to move on to the next sentence, pull out their wallet, or pick up the phone, whatever the case might be? And so you've got to define that. And so it's not like you have to promise the moon in the headline, but a headline must be promise-oriented that shows them what you're going to accomplish. Otherwise, you're going to lose them immediately. Otherwise, there's no point in them going any further if you've got like this tame little headline. Like we train dogs, we walk dogs, we groom dogs. Just telling what you do is not enough. When people are online, they get so bored so fast, they're gone, if you're not promising them something big. Now, again, as I'm saying this, I know that some people are going to be looking at this and saying, I don't know if I can do that. I don't want to feel unethical by promising something big. And again, you've got to get specific. It's not like we're the best dog trainers in the world is promising something big. What you need to say is what you do really well. There's nothing unethical about that. There's nothing unethical about making a big promise based on something that you are uniquely qualified to do. And again, I hope this isn't making folks uncomfortable, but if it is, ask yourself what you're really doing in business and ask yourself where your business needs to go. If you don't have a big promise, if you don't solve a big problem, if you don't create a big solution for dog owners, why on earth should they give you money? Why? And again, big is relative, right? And so when I'm hungry, the big promise that Domino's has is that they're going to get me a pizza that tastes good or whatever. I don't even remember, or the big promise that McDonald's has is it's going to be this type of food and it's cheap. And the big promise that this company has is I'm going to feel cool being at their restaurant. Yeah, it's more expensive, but it's really quality and organic or whatever. And I'm talking about restaurants here, but it's the same across the board. I bought a tarp yesterday. The big promise was this is the size of the tarp that I need and it's strong. That's the big promise. And so again, when I'm saying look for your big promise, it doesn't have to be unethical. It doesn't have to be brazen. It doesn't have to be super bold and over the top. But it does have to speak exactly to the problem that the people have. They have a hunger to fix something. Your big promise needs to fix it and needs to communicate, how it can do it better than anybody else. So again, hopefully that makes sense. Reach out to the show if you need some clarification on that, and I can even do like a follow-up episode. But anyways, so there's at least two more parts, possibly more, but there's at least two more parts that I want to talk about, but I'm going to head to break here. When I come back, I'm going to continue diagramming for you the anatomy of this landing page and what you need to be doing in order to get the most leads, make the most money from your landing pages.
Sit. Stay. We'll be right back after a short pause.
Retrievers, Labradors, Goldens are the main breeds that come through our door, but we'll train anything with 4 legs and a tail. My husband and I own a kennel. We train hunting dogs and also have a boarding and grooming business. Our dogs, they're athletes, and we feed a very quality food. You can't get enzymes in a commercial dog food because they cook it at such a high heat that so much important nutrition is just cooked right out of it. But adding Dynovite to their diet has every single dog in my kennel looking better than they have ever looked.
DINOVITE.com.
859-428-1000.
The omega-3 fatty acids.
Flaxseed, zinc, alfalfa.
The digestive enzymes that are cooked out of regular dog food.
Dynovite is nutrition.
If you want the dog to be healthy, you got to feed it something healthy.
DINOVITE.
Dynovite's the bomb.
859-428-1000.
859-428-1000.
Dynovite for life.
DINOVITE.com.
Hi, I'm Dana Humphrey, the founder of Whitegate PR. We have been specializing in PR and marketing in the pet industry for over 10 years. If you have a pet product or service you would like to promote, give us a call. We can help create awareness for your brand on TV, radio, magazines, newspapers, and blogs. Feel free to reach me directly at 619-414-9307 or learn more on our website at whitegatepr.com or follow us on Facebook.
Let's talk pets
Let's talk pets
on Pet Life Radio.
Pet Life Radio.
PetLifeRadio.com.
All right, we're back. So, as I was talking about before, we've already talked about what a landing page is, why you should be using them, if there's a good reason to not use them, if you hate money, if you're allergic to money, if you're allergic to making sales and growing your business, then that's a good reason to not use them. Other than that, landing pages are a great thing. I recommend you have them. Now, again, they don't need to be super nebulous or difficult to understand. There's 3 main components, and again, sometimes we might add more, but there's 3 main components. The first one is the headline. We have to have a headline that brings them in, offers a promise, promises a solution, that type of thing, that speaks to them. Oftentimes, just to go along with it, this isn't a different part, but I'll do like a sub-headline. So for example, and I'm not even looking at one of my landing pages now, so let me just kind of off the top of my head, I didn't write notes on this, something like, well, let me go back, stop your dog's aggression by tomorrow with this method. That's the headline. And the sub-headline could be, I don't know, dog owners in 10 minutes a day. Now, I know this is sounding super salesy and super hypey, so kind of ignore it. But I'm going down a process here that I want folks to go down. In 10 minutes a day, this guy was able to achieve this. Or using this proprietary formula, this dog trainer is able to make this happen or something like that. So you can have a headline, maybe a sub-headline to kind of clarify the headline above. And again, get people to read down to the body. And that's the second part that I want to talk about is once we've got the headline, then we need the body. Now, the body can be a variety of things here. I tend to like video. And so video for me converts better, tends to convert better for most folks. Doesn't for everybody, so it's something that you can test and see how well it does. But I tend to like video. And so a headline could be this. And then depending on what I'm looking to do, ideally, like I say, we're talking about creating a lead here. A video might say something to the effect of, hey, I'm Ty the dog guy, and I know that you've been struggling with dog aggression, and that's why you're on this page, but don't worry, we can help you. So here's what we do. We've got this process, and there's 3 parts to it, and blah, 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 blah. And people that go through this process, are going to have these types of results. In fact, look down below for some evidence of other people that are just like you, blah, blah, blah. And so I'm talking like that. And so in order for you to get this video series, just go over to the right-hand side here, enter your name and email address, and you're going to get all the information you need. And so simple as that, right? That's one thing I've done, and I've been very successful with that. For my local business where I'm not selling a product and I'm selling a service, it might be something like, I know that you're on this page because you're trying to deal with aggression. Don't worry, we've got you covered. There's tons of dog trainers out there. So really what I want to do is tell you how we're different. So if you enter your information on the right-hand side, what we're going to do is we're going to send you out a 3-part video series or blah, 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 something like that. That's going to show you how we can solve this problem better than anybody else. So just enter your information and then, I'm going to have, name, phone number, email, address, all that good stuff. And so I like video. Video tends to do very well. In fact, there's a lot of evidence that shows that a video on the left and an opt-in form on the right are going to do better at converting than some other ways. Now, other things that you can do is text, and I want to talk about this here in a second, but everything that you do has to be benefit driven. It has to be talking to them and solving their problem. there needs to be very little about you in this case. It's very little of, hey, I'm the best dog trainer in the world, and I'm the best dog walker in the world, and we're the best grooming shop in the world. There's very little of that. There's room for that. Like, hey, I'm Ty the dog trainer, and we've been voted Utah's best dog trainer 7 times in a row, and let me tell you about your dog. Something like that. And so you can get some of those little brags in and let people know why they should be listening to you. But most of this should be benefit related, talking about them, and the things that, the things that are important to them and the reason that they're on that page. Talk about yourself too much and they don't care. They don't know you. Talk about them and you're going to, have a much higher chance of getting their information and turning them into a lead and somebody that's interested in buying from you. So the body could have video. It could have sales copy, text that explains benefits of why they would want to go to the next step, which is the call to action, which I'm going to talk about here in a second. Testimonials are a great thing to put in the body, so that people are like kind of getting excited. Like, I know I'm only entering my name and email, but I really want to get this information. And so testimonials are very good to include there. But essentially what we need to do is make our case. We're lawyers here. We're lawyers making our case. Somebody saying, listen, I've got limited time, limited resources. Anything that I do needs to be worth it. So staying on this page for 2 minutes needs to be worth it, let alone giving you my name and email address and all that other stuff. You've got to make your case to me. And so you've got to make that case. You've got to make it quick. You've got to make it convincing in order to move them on to the next part. So like I say, benefit driven is going to be the best thing. So now benefits and features are two opposite things. People tend to confuse the two. Business owners tend to confuse the two quite a bit. So a feature is, something that the product does or the service does, and the benefit is what it does for them. And so I always kind of describe it by using the qualifier, what that means to you. So for example, the dog walk is an hour. That's a feature. It just tells about the dog walk. What that means to you is that your dog is going to have plenty of time to get tired and get worn out. So by the time he gets home, he's not going to have any need to chew or whatever. Or our staff is CPR trained or dog CPR trained. That's a feature. I mean, until you add a qualifier, it doesn't mean a whole lot. So when you add that benefit, our staff is CPR, pet trained or however that goes, dog CPR trained. What that means to you is that your dog is in the best hands. If anything was to ever happen, we've got staff that's going to take care of it, and that first aid is going to be immediate and we're going to take care of your dog, things like that. And so it all needs to be benefit driven, not feature driven. Now you can list features, you can say, hey, enter in your information. I'm going to tell you about this program that does this and this and this, but we need to make sure that, there's also that what that means to you is here's how your life is going to improve by taking the next step with me. Everything that we do is a sales process. To get people to get on the page is a sales process. To get them to read the page is a sales process. To get them to scroll down is a sales process. To get them to enter their information is a sales process. And so on and so forth. Everything is a sales process. And we need to be pushing them along in that whole process in a very, predictable way. So the third and basically final part is the call to action. And I mentioned earlier that there might be other parts, and I'm going to kind of talk about that here in a second. But the call to action, like I say, ideally is singular, clear, strong. It's like I say, sometimes it can be dual, like click here for this or call. That's about as complicated as you want it to get. And so I've done it a variety of different ways, and it just kind of depends on the landing page. But ideally, like I say, it's very singular what you want them to do. And so it could be enter your information below, and one of our representatives will call you right away. Enter your information below and you'll be taken to a page with immediate pricing and information. Enter your information below to schedule your free consultation. Whatever it is, you need to be clear about what it is. Now, in fact, on one of these Facebook forums for dog trainers the other day, that's one thing I mentioned to somebody because she's saying, I'm not getting any leads for my page. And when you go to her page, you saw it was convoluted. It was call this number if you have questions, or email this address if you want to get started, or do that. It's very convoluted where it just needs to be very clear. Now, again, the way that I like a landing page is video on the left, opt-in form on the right. So right there on the right is address, email, phone number, blah, blah, blah. Now, when it comes to that, you will get a lower conversion rate the more fields that you have. And so, but generally you'll get a higher quality lead the more fields that you have. So it's just kind of a trade-off. So if all you're asking for is name, phone number, and email versus name, phone number, email, address, tell me about your dog, how old is your dog, blah, 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 you're going to get less people opting into the second one versus the first one. Now, it depends on where you are in your business. If you're at a point in your business where you need as many leads as possible, make it as easy as possible. if you're at a point in your business where you need to be more selective, then be more selective in the call to action process. Make it easy for them to do it. Don't make it so they have to copy and paste an email, go over to their Gmail account or something like that. Make it, enter it right here. Call this number right here. Click to call, whatever. Make it so easy for them to do it. You put barriers in front of that by making them copy and paste an email address or something like that, and you're going to lose a lot of people. I mean, you just frankly will. And so like I say, if you've got that singular, clear, strong call to action, click here to do this, enter the information in this, call now. It's so much bigger for getting results and for conversions. So when I mentioned that there might be other components, really what I'm referring to is more body. So here's how most of my landing pages go. And it just kind of, like I said, it depends on what I'm doing. But I'm going to have a headline, I'm going to have a video, I'm going to have an opt-in form. And then underneath, I'm going to do, all right, now here's some testimonials. And then underneath that, I'm going to talk more about the program in text. And then underneath that, another call to action. And then maybe I'm going to offer more testimonials, more this or that, and then more, and then another call to action. And so you can have multiple calls to action on the same page if you're doing what's called long form copy. That's totally okay. And long form copy tends to convert better. Almost everything that I've always done has been long form copy. And I don't care what the critics say, you got to make it short. If people like what you're doing, they're going to read it. If people like what you're doing, they're going to watch it. If they don't, they won't. And you got to figure out how to make sure that people are liking what you're doing. But anyways, that's your call to action. Now, the last thing that I want to talk about here before I close off is I want to talk about how to actually do this in a way that's easy. Now, if you're tech savvy, you may be able to create these pages yourself. I'm not tech savvy at all. I get very angry when I try to create landing pages. I get really angry when I have to do anything more than email or click a button to watch a video. And so I have a virtual assistant that does it for me. But even still, there's things that make it really easy. So let me give you a few, and you might want to take notes here. ClickFunnels is a software. It's one that I have, and it allows you to make these landing pages very easy. Not only that, it allows you to make the following pages. So, it's all right, enter your information here, and then it goes from there to like a thank you page, or it can go wherever you want it to. But anyways, ClickFunnels is one that I have, and when I'm selling something on a page, I will use ClickFunnels. Another one that I have is called Lead Pages, and you can just Google these. And so if all I'm looking to do is create a lead, generally I'm going to be using Lead Pages. Lead Pages is a little bit cheaper. I don't remember. I think ClickFunnels I'm paying $100 a month. Lead Pages, $40, $50, $60 a month, something like that. So Lead Pages is another good one that is, it's super easy, super fast, super quick. It's going to hook in with your autoresponder. And if you don't have an autoresponder, go get MailChimp, MailChimp.com. It's a free autoresponder. You start paying when you're using more of the features, but at that point, of course, you're making more money. So ClickFunnels, Lead Pages, Thrive Themes. So there's Thrive Themes is one. It's a WordPress theme. So if you have a WordPress site, you can use this theme. You might have to put it on a subdirectory. You might have to do yourwebsite.com/Thrive Theme or whatever. You put it on a subdirectory of your website, but it allows you to create landing pages very easily. Optimize Press is one that I also have, that I own. It's a couple $100. I don't remember exactly how much it is, but Optimize Press is another one where you can make sales pages really easily. And then it seems like every couple months I see a new company coming out with these. And the reason why there's so many companies coming out with ways to make landing pages so easy is because they're so effective. And marketers know I need landing pages. But if I'm going to try to go onto WordPress and configure a landing page based on my theme, it's going to be either A, impossible, or B, incredibly difficult. And so that's why now there's so many services that offer a way to create landing pages. I personally own ClickFunnels, Lead Pages, and Optimize Press. I like them for different things. I tend to use ClickFunnels and Lead Pages the most. And then I do have a bunch of things on Optimize Press. But anyways, but that's not to say that these are the best, because like I say, there's new ones coming out that I don't even know anything about. I just hear about them, but I've already got the stuff that I'm using. I'm happy with it. So anyways, landing pages, folks, if you are trying to collect leads for your business, if you're a pet sitter, dog walker, groomer, dog trainer, veterinary office, and your aim is I need interested people to raise their hand and say, hey, I'm interested over here, then a landing page is going to be far more effective than a website that has a phone number up top and a link that says contact. It's going to be far more effective. And so consider some of these softwares, consider how you can do this with your pages. Some of my clients that I've worked with, they don't have the money, at least at first, for some of these ClickFunnels, Lead Pages and stuff. So we make do with their WordPress pages. You can absolutely do that. The problem with doing it on your regular website is that they have too many options. You know, they've got the whole header up there that says homepage, about, you know, programs, blah, blah, blah. You know, and so there's too many places to go on your regular website. But if you can't afford one of these softwares, at least try to do it on your regular website. But recognize that when there's more than one option, you're going to get a lower conversion rate. And that's the beauty of a landing page, is one option means much better conversion rate. So, in any case, thanks for listening today. I hope to see some of you guys out there with some landing pages. If you have questions, feel free to email me, info@tietheDogGuy.com. Head over to PetLifeRadio.com and listen to all of their other shows, and especially click on Six Figure Dog Business, where you're going to find all of my episodes, and make sure to listen to those, enjoy them, share them with your friends. Thanks for listening. We'll talk to you soon.
Let's Talk Pets, every week on demand, only on PetLifeRadio.com.